everybody? Happy Friday to everybody. We got another little live stream talk about today, so nothing really just specific. Hope everybody's having a good day. So, you can drop as we get started and stuff. So, you already know while we wait for these notifications and all that good stuff. What's everybody's up to? Right. So, I've been seeing a lot of videos going up, the subscriptions, all that good stuff, So we're just here, just hanging out. And like I said, nothing really too specific to talk about. But I mean, there is a few things that are floating around the internet. One of them, spoilers, just in case. They have apparently there's this big spoiler going around for Joker 2 with the ending. If you haven't seen it or if you haven't read about it, just be warned there. It's a spoiler out there. I think it's not real. I just think it's just people just trolling on the internet. But apparently they're saying that the end for Joker 2 it just sounds too ridiculous to even talk about it. But apparently this Joker that we have, Joaquin Phoenix, he's not gonna be the real Joker, and he's supposed to be like a variant. And like his character comes to an end, and then we get this other person, that one's the one that's gonna become the real Joker. And like this is just like, I don't know, it's just, I guess, just trolls that are related, and they're talking about Zin with Joaquin with his Joker. Apparently that it's Jared Leto's Joker. So I mean, I'm I'm like, yeah, I don't think that's gonna be happening, honestly. It would look. I like Jared Leto and everything, his Joker, but we already know that's a whole different time. The different timeline and set on a different universe. But I mean, I don't know. Like this is just right now. Like I said, it's just probably some trolls that are making all that up, and that's what they're talking about. DC and with the way with the this company has just been on a downward what it's really insane on the things that that they're doing and stuff like that. So they're hoping to fill up seats in the theaters, but at the way that this is going, and we've already decided, the most of us fans are just going to keep our wallets closed. The studio, they have to accept and know that the power is with the fans, and when you don't give the fans what they want, I mean, you just pretty much reap what you sow. And on a good news, if you want to say, apparently today, one of my viewers let me know that the stocks for WB went up, and they did. At the time when I saw it this morning, it went up like probably like $7, so it was like at $9.91, which is good. That's a good sign. And like I said, things are slowly starting to shift, and especially now that Zach is back and David Ayer. Hopefully things are starting to steer in the good for this company, because it just gets to a point where it's like, how much can this company keep on again? And of course, this is normal for, like, Wall Street to go up and down. But just check this out. Like I said, in the morning, at the time we are right now, at 1:19 p.m. Eastern time, it's at $8.42. So it's still in the green. It's good. And it's good to see WB finally, like in the green. So everybody that says, well, you want to switch to this company, every company, and that's where that stands at. But yeah. Then another thing too that's interesting is like that video that I just posted. If you haven't seen my most recent one, this whole thing again with again too with the Transformers. Look, let's talk about Transformers for a few minutes. Look, I'm a huge they throw at me as a Transformers fan. I'm sure you can relate to with whatever franchise, brand, whatever you want to call it, whatever you you entertain yourself with. All right, same thing with video games, collectibles, and the list continues. The point is, as a Transformers fan, I'm not gonna accept everything that Hasbro puts out because I'm just not going to like everything. That's sometimes the beauty of being a collector of whatever it is that you collect. More than it is, you're gonna probably buy it or support it because that's what is appealing to you. So you're that type of customer. What Hasbro and Paramount Pictures have been doing with Transformers lately, and when I say lately, is ever since they haven't had Michael Bay, it's just been completely just it just keeps going down and down. I get it. Rise of the Beast was an okay movie. It was not the best, but especially that opening scene. Now, a lot of people tend to tell me, well, you can't have the ending of Bumblebee. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. If you invested all this money, right, on these actors and actresses, and you thought as Hasbro and quote unquote animated isn't moving, then you need to go back and reanalyze and revisit what is working, what isn't. Unfortunately, Transformers 1 is a flop. That's it. I'm not gonna argue with nobody. It's a flop. And they're trying to make it seem like it's a big success. It's huge, and they're trying to blame now Beetlejuice because well, Beetlejuice is up against it, so of course nobody's gonna go watch it. No, it's not. There's no excuse. Oh, and then they're like, oh, because the kids are in school and because school started and they don't have time. Yes, they do. They can still go on the weekends, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Animated film that's right now. I'm not interested in the Beetlejuice, but when it comes to what Hasbro is doing out with Transformers. First of all, the quality of their toys, stepping away from buying the products just because they keep on getting cheaper, they keep on getting more keep losing quality. And Johansson, big names like that and other names bring to the movies. I'm sure a lot of you can relate. Is no, I just go because I'm like, I want to see how this all plays. Transformers one, especially when it was going to be another reboot. That tells you everything. Whenever they reboot anything, that's everything in this industry with video games. Very big with the video game industry right now. And you can see it. It's all taking a toll. How many games have been delayed? How many games have been canceled? And the list continues. And look at what just happened with what do you it tanked. We knew it. It was going to be a microtransaction in and after all the smack that they talked against them, trying to blame them and say because of them, you did it yourself. And MetLife, I don't need the PS5. I don't need the new Xbox. I would need rid of Loki. I'm like, I don't have time for that. You have to put all this equipment in your head, and it's just annoying. It's just I just want things to be easy, fun, entertaining, and that's it. Now, falling and going down, they don't know what they're doing, but it's just that they're not putting quality out there anymore like they used to, and that's hurting every company everywhere and everything, and it's sad because it's like they're supposed to be doing. This is why, like, again, while we're on this topic of the Transformers, real quick, today, what is it? September 27, 24. Right now, you see on Target for all the collectors, right? If you collect figures of Transformers, I'm one of them. They're re-releasing, product from Michael Bay's movies. So why are you bringing this? You're gonna tell me that you have a whole country that was sitting on that stock, and then all of a sudden now they're releasing it because they're trying to get rid of it. We know that Hasbro tends to do, but at the same time, to get the fans what they want overall. It, it, it's just they just not focus on the customer that are good, and people are overlooking them just a lot of people brands, and that's understandable, and that's the same thing that's happening also with like movies. With big example is Warner Brothers, like they've just made it so difficult for the customer to I want to be, but again, if you had the director, you know, what's his name, Karen, Todd Phillips, are you going to do a Joker 2? No, knowing that nobody asked for it. Why? Because your greed led to sacrifice quality because as just added the names to them just so we can lure you in. Come on, you don't do that. It's like you're just making your customers not want to believe in you anymore. That's what happens. What's going on, Mad Max? We need to go harder than ever. Yes, that's exactly what we're doing. And, the studio knows it, and everybody that's in there, they know what's up, which is, it's wild. But at the same time, there's no surprise, like I'm glad things are finally slowly starting to ship. And, like this is what they need, a positive movement shift for things to finally try to like lure us and make us believe that yeah, the Penguin is the best show that's out there right now on streaming. And then if you look at it now, the numbers just honestly, that's another one too that's doing bad, but it did better than the Penguin because they made like 9 point something views in the whole week, which is also sad because for Marvel to be making those numbers on a daily basis, it's like it shows you that both sides, with WB, with DC and Marvel, Disney, are how fans are just they're tired of it. That are a lot of things, and it's just letting you know that hey, how they want the fans are all about. And we're seeing it with WB. And we're also seeing it with Disney. They're both down the tank, and it just is what it is. Did I see Game of Thrones? Dragons. Game of Thrones was good. I'm not into the story. I don't. They gave us, and I'll be honest with you, seeing both shows, Game of Thrones was on point. Like music, oh man, that music, and you could tell that they had. It's like you could see a big difference. Like you can tell they went on a cheaper scale, and they weren't putting that quality like it was before. And he says to the Calvary that they'll treat him much better. Oh yeah, that's a diss. That's for sure. Those are shots being thrown at everything that they said was with a subliminal message. We'll treat just telling you, hey, look, the WB has you with these big. Come over with us. We'll treat you better, and we'll do you justice. Ooh, you see what I'm saying? WB has it. WB has DC, the biggest property. Look, it's so big. While we're getting on the topic more and more, WB just finally got Batman, the first superhero, their name on one of those things. Among all the celebrities or whatever. The point is, Marvel hasn't done that. How come Marvel hasn't done that? And not only that, but the sad and embarrassing part about this is, how are you going to be WB, right? And you have all these actors. You have Michael Keaton that just recently got his star, of good and around. You could have had them all together in a picture and be like, look, these are all the live. Those are the stars. They are the ones who made that character to who he is today. And what do they get? They get a cosplayer, something like that, to take the picture. And don't be surprised, something like that costume is what I picture, but with the underwear, the is going to be cringe like that. Really appreciate that. You give authentic news. I try. I try to bring it as real as possible for you guys. Bish, don't want to let me know if you can hear me again because we were having technical difficulties and this whole thing with StreamYard was acting up. Not sure what happened, but appreciate y'all for being patient and all that stuff. All right, so look, trying to catch up where All right, so I would like to see a crossover movie where thing honestly, but maybe down the line or like somewhere on a different timeline right now. Thing and let them finish it and then maybe do something after that. But like later on, not now. Main thing right now I want to see is just more of the Snyderverse and this whole universe be fully complete and then have moved on. And then it's official. It's finally a wrap. And then just go and say, hey, that's it. And like I said, these studios just, All right, appreciate that. We hear you now. Cool. All right. So again, you could drop your comments. This is just a open type of chat. We're just talking about everything and anything. So just try to keep it respectful to everybody. If you're new to the channel and all that stuff, so just drop your comments and we'll go as we keep on chatting and stuff. So yeah, it's crazy. It's pretty wild. And the same thing when topic. I'm a collector. I like to collect a whole bunch of stuff, but whatever catches my eye, and the same thing happens with this Transformers movie. And look, man, I'm just not feeling it. The streaming, and they should have just left it at that. The same thing. There's so many shows and things that they can do right now, and the same thing. Just put it all on streaming. Like straight to streaming. And the same thing with the video games. If you play video games, you have to buy it in order for you to stay on their server and play with it. I mean, free, like how Fortnite is. If you play video games and you're aware and you're familiar with Fortnite, it's a game. It's fun and you don't have to really buy anything on it if you want to. It's optional. But when you have games like with the microtransaction, you have to buy in order for you to stay on their server and playing with it. I mean, why? Why is that even necessary? So many good games have been out there, and WB have shut down the servers. Another good example of a good you can buy stuff, like the weapons you wanted to use in the game and stuff. So it was fun. But the thing is, WB felt like it wasn't popular. And it's wild because you have other games, another one too that's old, and it's also a game that's similar because it came out around the same time. Was Resident Evil, what was it? Out Raccoon, what is it? Operation Raccoon City. And this was when like the early days of streaming, if you want to say, and digital games, if you want to say. It was a good time. And till this day, I still play that game. I pop it on the PS3. Still that people still want those type of games. But then you have new games that are coming out like Suicide Squad, and WB's like, well, we're gonna capitalize and we're gonna make this game all microtransaction, and everything's gonna be fine, and we're gonna, make the player and the fans, give us money that we want. And look at how bad that bit them. It's so bad that now Rocksteady's laying people off. WB's laying people off because who knows what they were thinking and what their expectations were. And looking at it now, like as a collector, I'm sure you collect, or if you know anybody, but collecting is not easy, and it's not cheap anymore. Like it's gotten to the point where it's like, do I even want to collect this anymore? And it's nuts. It really is. All right, so drop your comments because I'm reading them as I go. Hello, hello. There, are you a fan of Michael Bay? Right? Yep, I'm a fan of Michael Bay. I really like all his movies of Transformers. I get it. The last one, the last night, was a complete mess, but that wasn't his fault. Remember, he didn't write that one. He was going off what somebody else wrote for that movie, but that movie was a disaster. It could have been good, but and then again, you have the studio that got in the way. Because look, the same way that WB has gotten in the way for Michael Bay, it's the same way that the studio has gotten in the way for Zack Snyder. They didn't let Zack fully fulfill and do his vision of the Snyderverse, and they kept on getting in the way and screwing things up left and right. That's why we're in this mess. Now, Hasbro, well, at the time, Paramount, if you want to say, Paramount did the same thing to Michael Bay. We got everything. Of course, if you're familiar, you collect, the merchandise and stuff like that. I collect the figures, so I collect the Dinobots. Like probably like 3 or 4 of them out, and that we were supposed to get Age of Extinction, where it was supposed to set up Volcanicus, and it was gonna be a big thing. But the studio were like, yeah, we're not gonna spend that much money because it's gonna cost us a lot with the CG, and they just canceled that. But then we have the figures and toys that came out. So again, they did Michael Bay dirty like the same way WB screwed over Zack Snyder and David Ayer, and they didn't give us the full vision that he wanted to give us. It all started with Transformers 4, and it continued over the last night. Horrible, embarrassing they did, and they treated, the Dinobots. They literally did them like they were dogs. I was like, wow, like what it's come to, these respected characters into what it's a joke. It's literally a joke, and it just sucks. It sucks. But again, you got to hold these studios accountable for it. All right, Batman Hollywood star. Yeah. I just spoke about that. That I just said that it's pretty cool that Batman finally gets a star, but at the same time, it's embarrassing because they didn't bring no actor to at least say, "Hey, look, here we have so and so." Especially if they believe so much in Robert Pattinson. I mean, that could have been the opportunity where they could have brought him and said, "Hey, look, here we have Robert Pattinson, the current Batman. We're giving a star to Batman. Let's, in honor of him, we have you could bring in Ben Affleck, you could bring in all these actors to just say, "Hey, look, we're here to support it and stuff." But no, they didn't do that. And it's it sucks. It really does. We also didn't get the Batman Forever director's cut. Yeah, the Schumacher cut. That's another one too that's still sitting in the vault. I know a lot of people said that there is a Schumacher cut, and who knows? I mean, anything is possible. If it took us, how long did it take the Superman fans to get what is it was the Donner cut from Superman? If that can happen, I mean, anything is possible, and as long as there's a huge fan demand, and I mean, there's not a real big fan demand for like Batman Forever like that. And I mean, it doesn't make noise like with the Snyderverse or like with any other IP that they have and stuff like that, which it sucks because I also want to see Schumacher and Batman Forever. But it is what it is. I mean, like I'm happy with what we got. I'm sure there must have been something better, and only time will tell. Sometimes these things could take a long, long time for us to actually see the real version of something. Look how long it took us to get the Snyder cut. 5 long years. 5 long years. Add the math and add in a year. Well, what do we have usually? Like 360, in a year times five. That's how long we waited for us to get the Snyder cut. And the same way we got that, we'll get the air cut too, you know? And it's just we have to be patient. That's all, and the same thing is happening with the gaming companies, like can't it's just you don't give quality, it's all going to catch up to you, know? We're seeing now. See, I mean, what are you doing wrong that you're not catering to the fans? Something must be going on. How come we don't see that with Nintendo? Because Nintendo cares. Nintendo cares about, and that's an IP that forever. I mean, since I've been a kid, and we're talking about years from the '80s to now, and Mario is still around, and it's forever going to be around, and it's always the same thing. Notice it. You go through pipes, and at the end you fight, that big Koopa Bowser. It's always the same thing for every game. Mario Kart is the same thing. You're just driving with these characters, and that's it. Have fun with it. And that's the whole. Nobody's interested in anymore. That phase All right, me know if you guys can hear me. The app is acting up, but I appreciate everybody for watching. I think I'm gonna end the stream just for now. I appreciate that, Charles, and stuff. But yeah, it looks like the connection is really really bad. Something is going on because my connection is working fine. Short for now. I'll probably come back later on to end it, and we'll catch up later on for later.